Chapter 8 Friedrich. Weinige was excited to meet someone knowledgeable about history, and spoke with confidence, saying, "One of my ancestors was Irish and many looking for work served as officers during slavery. Some were independently and some were not. Both my ancestors left fat into your mark during what they have called the Devil's Punch Bowl. Were 20,000 black men during the Civil War were murdered in a mass grave, a horrendous crime they died from history." Friedrich shook his head. "Yes, even as he is speaking, women the set of after the Civil War, most horse trainers, grooms, and jockeys were your people in the sport, back then called the Kentucky Derby. In fact, of the 28 winning jockeys of the first Kentucky Derby, 15 of them were your people. However, we were banned from the sport until the Jim Crow era began." But about 80 years later, we produced men like Marlon St. Julian, Kevin Krieger, and Oliver Lewis. Oliver Lewis was born into slavery but won first place in the inaugural Kentucky Derby of Anschissment Motorsavams. There was a young man. Friedrich passed, damn, his name is at the top of my tongue. Saab, that was his name. At 15, James Saab Perkins became one of the youngest jockeys to win the Kentucky Derby, and another man, Isaac Bond Murphy, was known as one of the best jockeys to ever race. Yes, we all heard of Meghan Markle, but she was not the first black woman to become a member of the British royal family, as if it matters. Both Queens of Charlotte, the wife of King George III, was one in smelling an agreement. Yes, you have heard of this, but did you know that during slavery, there were a series of revolts and rebellions by slaves against their masters? In Britain, they ended the British slave trade in Anschissment Motorsabat, trial parliament, but it wasn't the end of slavery itself. It wasn't a province of free those who were re-enslaved. At the same time, slavery persisted, especially in the Caribbean. The act only made it buying and selling slaves from British ships illegal. However, the slaves in Barbados thought it freed them, but they weren't, causing the Barbados revolt of Anschissment Motorsabat. Weinige smelled, in never been to recur any place at earth and laws in, and don't also speak about my history in what comes close to home and say that you own it on an international level in that different form. You might know it, but it sounds different from someone who more. Friedrich politely interrupted Weinige. "That's pretty late, because I never heard of this Devil's Punch Bowl. African history is, as you say, head closely to home than American slavery." Weinige smelled. "That makes sense. Well, we can definitely learn what message in both of our understanding of them both." Friedrich shook his head. "Yes, we can. Please continue." Weinige smelled. "Oh well, it was rare for our people to have control over an enormous amount of land. However, Reverend Isaac Simmons, from Emmett County, Mississippi, owned over 270 acres of deep free land. His family worked the land, produced crops and sold the wood off the land. Rumor was started that there was oil on his land, and that Ralph of Waitman sowed up on Simmons' land and warned him to stop cutting lumber. Knowing what was about to happen, Mr. Simmons consulted with a lawyer, a man who practiced law, to work out the dispute and ensure that the property would belong to his children in the event of his death. Later, the man kidnapped and sold Simmons 3 times, cut out his tongue, and gave the rest of the family 10 days to get off the land. Like always, an old Druid quitted him, and they successfully stole his land. Friedrich passed, but it's especially sad when your own people, whether or not flesh and blood, betray you. That's something that cuts worse than it can ever do, whether for money, power, or position. It doesn't matter. Selling out your own is the worst kind of betrayal, and justice must be taken to healthy pain to bring about peace, and these demons are doing far worse than we as a people have ever encountered. I've seen what they were doing to our people, and it is excruciating to say the cruelty." Weinige said. "You like you, I'm an after my own heart. Well, of a sub think knows a little about the story." Friedrich smiled a little. He of John Brown, him mentioned in Frederick Douglass' letter to Harriet Tubman, and him almost did know to most Americans, although he was the frontrunner of some of the most important moments in the 19th century. Brown's name was lost to history until Letshi Hayao Winter was a series about him named the Good Lord Bird, but it did him just a little justice, for they showed him as a crazy man, a Bible fanatic. Like you have it over crazy to say in just state of a wrath of problem. Late. Metalio, his taste of slavery not only led him into nonviolent resistance but to active, violent terrorism, which would cause many deaths and lead up to the Civil War. Act 12, Brown recalls what's seen black by being beaten by a man with an unsavile weight in front of him. And every incident in America profoundly affected Brown's attitude towards slavery throughout his entire life. As he grew up and had a family, he always kept his disgust with slavery, but if he thought he could try to put his wheels in motion. Elijah Parr's love Jew was also an outspoken opponent of slavery, which his community met with intense hostility. He was sent to threats, his effects were attacked, and eventually, he was gunned down and killed. The slaying of Lovejoy disgusted John Brown, and he vowed to work for the rest of his life to carry on Lovejoy's work in diversity abolition of slavery. A difficult task for Brown because he was broke and, on top of that, he had problems that had plagued his family. Yet, he would not give up and made his way to Boston to join in the slavery crusade. Brown and his family arrived in Boston when city was transforming into a central hub of anti-slavery activity. Meanwhile, Boston was on a plague that dealt with and was famous for slave farms. One eagle said, "Yes, in memory of that, and it produced the word motherfucker from that event, for slaves were forced to have sex with it here. Children to produced better so-called stock like they do with bulls and horses." Friedrich said, "We will have to talk in depth on that, he didn't know all that. It knew about the slave farm, but didn't know that part." He shook his head with disappointment. Damn. Anyway, Brown immediately threw himself into that organization and became a crucial figure in the running of the famous Underground Railroad. The government limited the Underground Railroad to play subversive. It looked at the establishment of the Freedom of Slave Act, where it permitted bondholders to capture slaves and return them to their so-called masters, and some were, well, yet no. In response, Brown turned away from nonviolent acting and established a violent group known as the League of Vigilance to protect slaves from being captured. While Brown's activities were primarily nonviolent, at first, this changed to impress slavery focus in Kansas, where his sons lived. The violence during this period was the intense, but brutal beating of the slavery senator Charles Sumner. Brown was not forgiving and retaliated. Brown and his comrades murdered 5 of them in 2 days after the beating, which caused brutal violence. During this, one of his sons was killed. After seeing the death of his son, it is not clear how many pro-slavery men were killed by Brown, but his willingness to violence spread throughout the United States, for some held him as a hero and others as a dangerous terrorist. Over the next few years, Brown's violent activities would escalate. He gathered a force of 24 vigilantes and attacked Harper's Ferry, which contained an armory. The concern of the vigilante group was to seize the weapons and spark revolution that would lead to the abolition of slavery by force. However, these minds attacked the vigilantes, and many of Brown's allies and 2 more of his sons were killed. Brown refused to surrender, saying he would rather die than give up to the soldiers. He was knocked unconscious, arrested, and sent to prison. They charged and sentenced him to death. The court held him in total contempt, saying, "When he could up the Friedrich, had he so interfered with the rich, the powerful, the intelligent, the greater in behalf of any of their friends, it would have been all right, and every man would have tied it worthy reward rather than punishment." When he continued, they hung him to death in Virginia. He was 59. After his death, the Civil War broke out in the United States, leading to the abolition of slavery. Yes, you have definitely heard of John Brown, but you didn't know all that. Often, according to my belief and knowledge, Africans are the first humans on earth. Many have heard it but do not believe it to be true. Because our history was altered, they and others have been feeding every lies. The oldest human remain found by archaeologists is that of a Negro, brown or black person, wherever you want to call us. It helps prove it. Fact that Africans created civilization and the various African tribes inhabit regions outside of Mother Africa. Just the other day I was doing some research on subgroup that were tribe of Africa, who were the first people to live in Ireland. They were also referred to as akin by other African tribes and the well-known word Leprechaun by the Europeans. Leprechaun comes from the old Irish word, letropen, a compound name composed of meaning smell and corp, meaning body. They venerated the Great Black Mother and had women as leaders of their tribe. There have been many tales talked about leprechauns and their magical powers. Many people believed them to be a fairy tale, but in reality, they existed. The twins were small men and one who grew to about 4 foot 11 inches. They were skilled craftsmen who migrated from Africa to Ireland thousands of years ago and had invented knowledge of medicine, metallurgy, textile, and clothing. Manufacturing. Excellent stomaching, worked the carcassins at that time in human existence was Michael. Various authorities have confirmed the presence of Tetua properly in history and archaeology. British archaeologists Gerald Massey, Albert Churchward, and the Scots. Historian David McRitchie, as well as the British antiquarian Godfrey Higgins have researched this topic and they have relied on Tetua proper. Using names such as Black as Ethiopians, Kumnilis Dentibus, Nemofod Blackamoors to describe him. Both the Partholans, Fomorians, Nemes, Fairbones, Tuatildinen, Millicents of Ireland, and the Picts of northern Scotland were all blacks. Historians describe them as dwarfs, dark elves, or leprechauns in Irish history. There is a very book by David McRitchie entitled Ancient and Modern Britons, which state that the tribes of Ireland were black men is hinted at by the fact that a wood Irisman is in Gaelic, a black Irisman or Duke Irinach. The word dub in Gaelic is black. Like in many parts of the world, there are accounts of Europeans committing, eliminating, or going to war with African tribes from half history. Entire tribes have been wiped out by half human history and they are one of them. Many believe that the Irish celebration of St. Patrick was the handing down of the Tetua people. The reason for the Irish holiday is a poem that said to reveal hidden meaning, a moral or political on its head. According to the Irish, back in the 5th century, St. Patrick exterminated Ireland's snakes by driving them all into the sea. The Irish and Christians make it sound like a Sabbath carcassing people from real deadly snakes, but that is false. No evidence points to the existence of snakes, even being in Ireland. Ireland never had snakes, there are no snakes in Iceland, Hawaii, New Zealand, Greenland, or Antarctica for the same reasons. Yes, Ireland wasn't connected to a large landmass during this age, and the land was fertile for unequal blood reptiles to survive. Ireland became colder when the glaciers melted thousands of years ago, pouring more cold water between Ireland and its neighbors. Other animals, like wild boars, lynx, and brown bears, made it across. Also, only a single reptile, the common lizard, was able to make its snakes, however, necessary to survive in Ireland. So, there was no way Patrick could have chased snakes into the sea with his religious powers. They too people are the snakes he chased out and killed. The two people, just like many African tribes, were wise, just like the serpent. The two, just like many ancient African tribes, were also referred to as Naga, Nagar, and Negus, which also means serpent people or people of the serpent. Friedrich nodded his head. He knew about the first part, but didn't know about the last part about the snakes. It makes sense that the race or serpent crown on Yitin and Nubin royalty was known as the Nagar or the Negus, symbolizing wisdom, power, and protection. African cultures and religions have long used the serpent to represent eternal life, regeneration, power, protection, and wisdom. When in Ikunod, it is fitting that the allegory of serpents clearly points that to a people. It's safe to say that Patrick was mostly warlord and celebrate this role in honoring and chasing between the sea, where it aimed their death. Everyone knows black people held Russia and Europe during the Dark Ages. Friedrich smelled, that fits as well, he called it the Dark Ages. When he smelled, you sound like me, and I'm interested too. Now more about you, and how you came to this part of the country all the way from south, excuse me, Azania. Friedrich passed, you can say South Africa Azania. We have our history here as well. Apart it was a well-known fact, and we have our heroes and legends like Steve Beck, Sakazilo, Megiseth Butler, Nkos Jensen, Thabo Mbeki, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and of course, Winnie and Nelson Mandela. Our history is not much different from her. Anyway, from North America, me ancestor D. Jeremy Pitt was a powerful warrior for Sabbath, and me great ancestor, his mother, Tlomolk, said this to keep us on track. When in interrupt him, hold on, he heard that name, quite a few times since I've been on this journey. Says your ancestor. Friedrich, with a smile, yes, an old woman in her time, sighed, they may steal me crown, but they will never steal me glory. His words are waiting in Medina. You will rise. Friedrich passed sig service and bright many technology and wisdom, and many of her descendants and followers kept effect of the present day. Sie had to, kept effect, and did it all until me fetter did, and he became one of the most infamous murderers of all time. He killed the men who murdered me fetter Indian who spoke down on me people, no matter their color, race, creed, or gender. He was an angry militant drunk. Hell, if they thought badly about a woman, dead. Travel the world, calling raced people. When he was about your age. He was on my way to Israel to kill some of those fakest Jews, but he had to pass the old lands of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, where it climbed up as the Stark of the Covenant, what about, in Exum. Where he met a man who later. When he interrupted, Malaysia. Friedrich sighed, but of course, Malaysia. That was 15 years ago, and he had the gift of the Shekinah glory. Only in latent people see it, it just low like a bright light of him and he can charge you back up when you're weak and dull without. That's my gift, a spiritual battery charger. Well, and evil cannot come near at all. It burns him to come at least yards. You can feel their spirit burning, like at England's sensation. When he was excited about hearing Friedrich's story. But how did you get here? And in jail, on top of that. Friedrich legit, that's a long story, but it involves that man that was just arrested. Well here, he found that book in my cell, and he just started reading it to help it him pass when he got to the part that he heard me reading. He heard Liza say, made Friedrich Douglas, hurried, and yo. Came to my cell. When he shook his head, well then, come met the rest of us. Friedrich said, Asra hulet, right. Well, Asra and Igwas, you make Asra hulet. He was supposed to make 11 more people who were Sabbath's chosen warriors to lead the way. They entered the room where Jommy and the rest of the warriors were eating. Before one initiative could introduce Friedrich to them, the stone's prophet gave him behind the scene. Elsha and Elijah sighed, the man with the glow. Friedrich smiled, saying, That 11, including myself, where is number 12? Justin, Queen walked in. There is a glass, number 12. Queen, confessed, asks why this fiddling about. Queen shook her head, never mind, we need you and this meeting, but I'll tell them you are still eating. Waninikov shook his head, no, we'll come now and that later. Walking on said Queen, the warriors were tired, and Friedrich said to Waninikov take care of your people and serve Saba with all you heard, and this shall bless you. Waninikov sighed, ye have done that, haven't ye? Everyone shook their heads, yes. Friedrich inside, everyone except on. Waninikov stopped, well? Friedrich smiled, everyone except yourself. Rest and bold up what you have gotten so far, because the war is coming, and you must be prepared. Love is a mighty thing. He looked over at Queen as he continued. Sabbath wants you to find love and make yourself complete. Then he looked at Queen again, and they continued to walk toward the meeting. Waninikov thought about what Friedrich said, but as soon as they entered the meeting room, Darkiel said, Waninikov, we are still determining how to divide the land. We don't see how to organize the people, nor the land. Waninikov thought for a minute and said as Darkiel projected a map onto wall, we are now in possession of land from Pikachu Peak State Park to Tucson, from Tucson to Wet Tower, from the Wet Tower to Medinet-Altenwar, and from Medinet-Altenwar to Colonnade Hook, both opinions still surround us. Phoenix, to the north of us, El Paso, Texas, to the east, and the islas of California to the west. Yet thus we encase ourselves with the military. The warriors and their families, then the civilians. We must be structured to keep order and peace, and we must check out that library and circuit their hearts. A heavy task. But it must be done. We cannot live in peace, when evil is in our midst. It will take some time, but it's time to settle down in that will of Sabbath because a great war is coming, and all must be enlightened. All will not be warriors, but all will be enlightened. Sabbath knows what we need, and he shall supply your needs. On sitting enlightened it is finished, we will have all we need. Studying the map, a little longer, he continued, Friedrich will be our dictator, and the rest of the warriors will have their army. Friedrich turned to Waninikov, my yet, At first, this was Sabbath's world, but the day that this plant rejected him and was about to be destroyed was when it began Satan turned to rule this plant. Satan was trained to control it from the beginning, but now, it's Satan's world because the evil hearts of men. Sabbath has allowed Satan to control it while Sabbath gathers his people. We will hear him bark, meaning we will have a few battles here and there, but he is still chained up and cannot harm us until he's released from his chains. Think not, he doesn't know what you have done because he does, but one day, he will get lost. So, clear the evil-hearted men from among us, regardless of race, color, or religion. You don't care if it's your mother. An evil-hearted person must not live within your walls or know what you are doing, lest Satan creeps in and takes all you have, even your soul. For we are you hate what we done in his life and what has been done to us creatures. So, that is what will us against us. Therefore, we must seek enlightenment and let Sabbath use this as a place. Friedrich passed, Melissa visited me, and he said that Sabbath will stir into waters of the Gulf and the Atlantic is in a great pot, and his fist will go through at the bottom of the earth and will send a slow flood, and many cities will be under water, and some will disappear forever. We will be in many battles, but after this event the lands become great battle shall come, and we must set all we can at faith at the helm of the south until the battle is over. Friedrich held his head down. You would rather die for Sabbath, than die for myself. And the people heard his words and repeated them. You would rather die for Sabbath, than die for myself. Friedrich continued, we must pray the prayer of Sabbath when we go into this battles, meal and use with heaven, where dwelt as who reside in the holy realms. It is told they may come at this battle, and they will fight for me. Selah. Friedrich then shouted. Uzzeo. They looked at Friedrich and he smiled, it means, never for it. They all shout, Uzzeo. For hers, Dark Yellow and his family, Alan said when he given to warriors, stayed up all night remaining their plans and deciding what to go on how to board after the meeting. Everyone was stirred, but they all agreed with this new plan. When Nikif walked into his room and stared at the candles as he sat in the corner of his bed, Harry twisted it right his mind. He grabbed his notepad and wrote, lost and found. Looking for the lost found, to see if he need to recover a couple of things. Talk to a people with him, to help me see. We walk up in a scooter, and took some zigzagging steps, followed by some sliding hallways. At the end of the hallways was a sign. Lost found. You saw a young laddie, you haven't seen in 20 years. Why didn't you come around to see the doors, you're messing up me floors. Your plate, all his ears, you're still yelling, fussing, and cursing. Yes, I wish it to go toward the back. 'Tis eight of her brought back pain, betrayal, and tears. On me waiter. You see someone I hadn't seen in 15 years. You're a bastard, who was man? He asked, why are you still mad? He replied, why, you're bad. Confused look on me face, as he was told yet I get. Started sorting up the place, you felt disgrace. Told me friends, who were with me then, let's get out of this place. But it how do you want to find something you lost, on the side? You replied with a smile. He just realized he didn't lose anything, he put those things on purpose. Because they hindered me life. As crazy as it sounds. He lost him, so he can't be found. He wrote to me, me. Lomi was the cry of an old man Janskinu. He prayed to the Father above his blessings, his trials, that he endured during his lifetime. 80 years in the world, some good and of course, some bad. Many sad. Lomi was his reply. Remembering the days, frustrations in life. But at all times he had a smile, itching upon his face. Now, as he listened to him pray, having had conversation with his maker. Thinking he's going to live soon, on a day. Lomi. He's safe. To think about him. What happened to him? It seemed like it was just the other day, a stroke rested across his heart. Lost one of his legs. now, praying today. He sat in his house, seeing the grandkids playing. His accomplishments are great and many years have passed. Hoping on day, he can say, before he did. Only on me. He flipped the page over and wrote, Black Harmony. Black Harmony is a thing of the past. Some may say, and even see, and they do agree. But how can you stop this thing that goes on in this day and age? There's no need, like in the days of slavery. We many can say all, when it into black harmony. Black artists, black business, black corporations grew stronger and stronger. But black on black crime fills the air. Foolishness, selfishness, drugs and alcohol seems to be all good. But it now tastes away. All we can do, so it seems, is just cry. But may it have no more tears. Nothing but fear, awaiting black harmony. He wrote, lust. Wait is lust. En intentionering, desire, or need. A craving that many will favorite expense, no matter how it may affect. Selfishness. Is it only sexual? Hell no, that's lasciviousness. You can lust after anything that's conceived. And lust, when it's conceived, brings forth sin. Sin, when it is finished, brings forth death. That's a fact, not fiction. Lust for money was me lust, until I hid a dream. Remembering the wisdom of Solomon, the courage of Elijah. Then he remembered that dream. Me here it was, some will say, kill us, at that time. The day you laid me head down. He was in this room with a ladder, that went upward toward the light. Started climbing this ladder and people started to fall. There were old woman and old man climbing slowly, but he was in a hurry, Tony to the top. So, he started going up the ladder, with no concern about the others. Train told you to the top, people started to fall, he didn't carry it all. Then as he went up, the younger the people got. But hello. He was scared just when the told to the top. Non-stop. The light got brighter, he got higher. He got older. Many were falling as my selfishness got stronger. Realized the top had no end. It was too late. He had no family, he had no friends. Driven by lust, and did in my sins. Last word, ye be me. Ye be me. Now, they say me dread, grow too long. Yes, gone it over. But me gotta learn just a few more things, but me dreads on me head. Patents, they have shown me. Wisdom is what it thirst, me dreads on the head, are so important to me, and only me. 'Cause, ye did all things to be someone else. Me dreads, help me to be me. Used to dress to impress, now, it dress for me own success. Is said, Ak? Can he be me? Sin. For none else will it treat ob. You don't really talk like this. But me try to understand all my fellow man. 'Cause me been a lot of plagues, met a lot of rest, a lot of fix. You read a lot of books, but my lord. He's held me. Remain low. Hibble to dismiss, that cast many to be stressed. Yeah. You look in the mirror, a humble man of God. So, you try. Train to go for you trust in Amharic. No, not a Christian. According to the new standards. No Muslim, no Rasta, ye be me.